Now, Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba has been subject to interest from Manchester United in this window. What would need to happen for Manchester United to sign Carlos Baleba? Because it feels like we're a long way off from this.
It would have to be an astronomical offer. We know that Brighton have an exceptional recruitment system. What they do, the data model they use, the people they have at the football club, they are one of the market leaders when it comes to recruiting players. And you have to remember, they spent £25 million on getting Carlos Baleba from Lille a couple of years ago. And he's only 21 years old. They signed a 19-year-old. And obviously their model is always to develop players, to coach them, to improve them. And then, as we've seen historically, particularly in recent years, they've got the ability to sell these players for huge profits because they're so good at what they do. But someone like Carlos Baleba, who's only been at the club for a couple of years, who's still very much a part of that first team setup, still developing as a player, he will maybe have his head turned by the interest from Manchester United. Who wouldn't? Brighton's plan for the player is very much he will be with us for at least the next season, and Paul Barber said for many, many years to come. Quite interesting there that Fabian Herzler said, when asked, how confident are you that he'll still be at Brighton? It was very, very, very confident. There was 3 verys in there, which I think gives you an indication as to just how confident he is that he will remain at Brighton this season. No question that if he continues on the upward trajectory that he's currently on, he continues to play in the same way that he has, that these big clubs will start to look at him as someone that could be that pivot in midfield, someone that can be the shield in midfield for the back four and really develop as a player. But I would be absolutely gobsmacked, despite all the social media noise and various other things that are being said about him, if he were to end up at Manchester United this summer. There has been reports and noise saying he's not at the training ground. Our information is he's training with his teammates at Brighton today, and it's very much business as usual.
Just confident the midfielder will still be at the club at the end of this summer transfer window. We know that Manchester United are interested in the 21-year-old, but it would be a costly deal to do.
Very, very, very confident.
Yeah?
Yes.
Any particular reason why?
Just my belief. I didn't see any change. He only changed his hairs, so I think that was the only change he made the last 2 weeks. But overall, he seems to be in a really good place. He's enjoying it with his teammates. He's enjoying it being a Brighton player. He's very grateful to have the process he had in the last season. So I didn't see any big change, and he's an option to start for tomorrow. Yes.
His first words there were very, very confident. Why do you think Fabian Herzler feels so confident?
They hold all the cards, Brighton. Carlos Baleba has got 3 years left on his contract. Brighton have got the option to extend that for a further year. They don't want to sell. They've got no intention of selling. And because of his contract situation, they are under no pressure to sell as well. And I think also the price would be pretty prohibitive to Manchester United, and that would make it an almost impossible deal to do as it stands, because I'm sure we'll talk about it later about the number of players that Manchester United want to get money for because they want to offload. But I think Brighton will look at Carlos Baleba and they'll compare him to Moises Caicedo. And the noises coming out of Brighton are saying that he's actually further in his development at his stage of his career than Moises Caicedo was at that stage of his career. And what did Moises Caicedo go for? £115 million to Chelsea. So why can't Brighton say, well, if Moises Caicedo went for that, that's going to be our starting point with Carlos Baleba. As far as Manchester United are concerned, their focus clearly is going to be on the Premier League opener. They have signed 3 new forward players. They've revamped that front line with Mateus Cunha, with Brian Mbeumo and with Benjamin Sesko. Yeah. But Ruben Amorim, in his news conference earlier on today, was asked the question, what chance a midfielder? And this is what...
Hi Ruben, just on the midfield situation, do you want a new midfielder to come in, and would you be confident of getting one in, because it does look like you're quite light in that area?
I'm really happy with our players. They are working really well. We have different players for that position, so we are prepared to win any game with our players.
Well, in terms of trying to transform their fortunes, Manchester United are definitely backing Ruben Amorim in the transfer market. That's fair to say, with that front line. But how significant a change would it be to get in a player like Carlos Baleba, despite the fact, as Dharmesh has said, this would be a difficult deal to do?
I think it's almost impossible this summer. We've been speaking to the Brighton chief executive, Paul Barber, today as well, and he made it very clear that Baleba is not going anywhere. He said we're looking forward to seeing him play for us this season. So I still think United need to bring some more players in before the window closes. Yes, they've done a lot of business across their front line, but they do need, I think, reinforcements in midfield and perhaps in defence, and there's still question marks over the goalkeeping situation as well. But I don't think it's going to be Baleba. Baleba maybe will have to be one for next summer, but if he has another really good season, his value is just going to keep going up and up and up, even though his contract situation is going to obviously develop, because he'd only have 2 years left on his contract next summer, although I don't know if Brighton have got the option to extend that by another 12 months.
Well, one thing I would say about Manchester United is before the window even opened, and how last season when they finished 15th in the Premier League and they lost that Europa League final to Tottenham Hotspur and Bilbao as well, I think most pundits and most experts were saying this is not a one window fix. This is 2, 3, 4 windows it's going to take before Manchester United can really begin to challenge again. But because the window started so well for them, Matheus Cunha came in really, really early in that window. Bryan Mbeumo, there was lots of talk, and even though it was only sorted out a few weeks ago, there was a knowledge that that deal was going to happen. So people were getting pretty excited. Look, Cunha's done, and Mbeumo's done. Oh, can they get a striker? Oh, they've got Sesko. And now they're getting a little bit greedy, for want of a better word. Oh, why don't we just sign the midfielder now? And they're thinking about, oh, we could challenge for top 4 here. Whereas I think if you go back and just take a step back, I think most experts would agree that it's going to take a little bit longer.
It looks like Jadon Sancho is closing in on a departure from Manchester United, who are finding it very, very, very difficult to offload players in this window.
Yeah, and that's the problem. When you have big players on big contracts with big wages, it means that there are very few exit routes from the club that they're at, particularly when a club like Manchester United says to 4, 5, 6, 7 players, actually, we don't think you're going to be a part of our first team this season, so therefore we'd like you to explore the opportunities for you to move on.
Fabrizio Romano reports that key agreements are already in place. The Red Devils are determined to wrap up the transfers before the close of the window, underlining the club's intent to strengthen the squad in key areas. New manager Ruben Amorim has played a pivotal role in identifying both targets, viewing Baleba as an essential addition to his midfield setup and Donnarumma as a world-class solution between the posts. Amorim's vision for the team is becoming evident, as he seeks to combine youthful dynamism with established quality to restore Manchester United's competitive edge. According to Fabrizio Romano, personal terms have been discussed and medicals could be scheduled in the coming days.